Well, good morning, everyone, on this ungodly hour. Ugh. Well, fellow questers, if you watch live, welcome live. Got a few people. If you watch later, hope you enjoy the video. Micah, do you have any guesses who it's gonna be? Everyone thinks it's gonna be Dante from Smash. Dante from Devil May Cry for Smash. Okay. Well, that stream has no audio, so should start in 2 minutes. I still want Sora from Kingdom Hearts 3. Well, not just Kingdom Hearts 3, I just want Sora in general. But Dante would be cool. Dante would be cool. So we'll see. 35 minutes, I doubt that it's just going to be one character reveal. I think they're going to talk about the future. I think they're going to talk about their next season pass. Maybe even a new character for that. So we'll see. We shall see. Okay, 1 minute. Yeah, audio's up all the way. This is live, so whenever they start. Oh, from Ninja Gaiden. Ooh, Ryu from Ninja Gaiden. That could be crazy. That would be a good reveal. That would be a good character. I think this Smash character is going to be big because it's the last one. All right, here we go.
Hello everyone, I'm Masahiro Sakurai, director of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate from Sora Limited.
Give me one of those controllers, please. I need one.
We'll be using today's showcase to give you a first look at our next DLC fighter. Actually, hardly anyone knows what we'll be announcing today, even among Nintendo staff worldwide.
No way.
The development team and other stakeholders have been working on this fighter with the utmost secrecy, which means other Nintendo staff around the globe will only start making preparations for release after the showcase has been broadcast. So it won't be available right away. Please understand that it will take a little time.
Okay.
I think even many Nintendo employees will be surprised to see this and say, wow, really? So, let's all share in the fun of getting our hands on the latest information.
Okay, let's do it.
However, even if you say, that's not the character I was picturing, I hope you don't have any hard feelings. We've prepared a fighter reveal video. Once it starts, I think you'll figure out who it is pretty quickly.
All right.
Now, let's do this.
Okay, here we go. Entitled Goose Game. Another Fire Emblem character.
The time has finally come to unleash the forbidden spell of Zaharas upon our enemies!
I have no idea. I haven't played Fire Emblem in ages.
What were you thinking, charging right into an enemy's trap? As you and I are one, I too am trapped within this void. In time, our hearts and minds will cease to be. Are you prepared to die?
No, I'm not.
I thought as much. I also do not wish to die. And yet, there is no other choice. You must join Smash.
Huh?
Join Smash Brothers already! What in the world are you waiting for?
So joining Smash consumes even the
I don't know who
darkness
that is.
itself.
I don't know who that is, but it's another Fire Emblem character. You got a lot of those. You got a chain sword. Yeah, go come out. Okay.
So you return, and sooner than expected. I see. Too many swordsmen, are there?
Oh.
And you wield the sword as well? What will you do? Huh. So that is how you plan to win the day? So be it. I reward your cleverness this time.
Bunch of different weapons.
How is this?
Okay.
Of anyone, you should be able to handle the hero's relics.
Oh. Okay.
With Arid Fire, strike with superior reach. Use Amir's overwhelming power. Unleash the blinding speed
So,
of
kind of-
Failnaught. Along with the sword
Sword.
you create, each weapon matches a
Okay,
direction.
system utilities. Alright. I really hope this isn't the
Your
original.
will and mine be now as
Really
one.
hope they have a surprise for us.
To you, both sides of time are revealed. Through Smash, show the world.
Yay! I mean, people love that game. I've heard great things about it, but I really hope
There
there's
you have it.
one to reveal.
Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses is joining the battle. Fire Emblem Three Houses was released just last summer, so it's still very new. Even so, you'll soon be able to play as them in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
3 houses.
This release is planned for January 28th. You'll have instant access if you have the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighter Spins,
28th.
and it will also
That's
be
still
available
soon.
for purchase individually. In case you're not familiar with Fire Emblem or Three Houses, I'll explain a few things, so don't worry. First off, what is Fire Emblem? It's really hard to pronounce in Japanese. The producer said it's okay if I just say Fire Emblem. But when writing it, if you don't write Fire
30
Emblem,
more
the
minutes
Fire
of
Emblem
this?
police will come and get you,
They've got to
so
have
please be
more
careful.
reveals. Some form of surprise.
The series' first entry launched in Japan on the Famicom in 1990. You could say it was a pioneer in the genre of tactical role-playing games.
This is
You might
a
be
way
wondering
to tell
what makes
people,
it
hey, go
particularly
try out Fire
tactical.
Emblem.
Well, it's tactical in that it simulates combat. You can think of it as moving pieces in a board game, or in other words, a game in which you advance units across a grid and battle.
Cody just asked
When we
who the
talk
heck
about
this
tactical
is.
games of that era,
I-
there were lots of ones in which you command tanks, aircrafts, and so on. But Fire Emblem was unique because each unit was a specific character, sort of like in role-playing games.
Kind of underwhelming. At least for me personally,
Plus,
underwhelming.
something made it stand out from other Nintendo products.
Fire Emblem's cool.
Characters could permanently die. That's pretty direct language, though, so perhaps we should just say they're sleeping with the fishes. But really, if a character fell in battle, you'd lose that unit. They'd be gone, and you couldn't use them again.
Like real life.
Recent entries in the series maintain this concept of permadeath to some degree in classic mode and what have you, but a lot of games now allow strategic withdrawals, so to speak. In the older games, your units would really be gone, never to be mentioned again. Scary.
You are
The game's stories are told like chronicles of war, with increasingly distinct characters and engrossing scenarios. Several characters also appear in the Super Smash Bros. Series, and 6 of the 7 can use a counterattack. It's their down
I mean,
special.
that's cool. If you like Fire Emblem,
There's actually a reason for
I
this.
heard great things
When I
about
was
Three Houses.
considering
I
how
heard
to
it was really
incorporate Fire Emblem Fighters into Super Smash Bros. Melee,
sure a lot
I
of
thought
Fire
it might be
Emblem people are
interesting
excited.
to reflect the turn-based nature of the original game.
we have so many
First comes
Fire
your
Emblem
opponent's turn.
characters.
They attack
so
and you counter.
Many.
Next comes your turn. And now, Fire Emblem Three Houses is the 17th game in the series.
What?
People who aren't Japanese in particular might be thinking, 17 games? There are that many? Well, if you include Fire Emblem Heroes in the remakes, but you don't include the Satellaview game, Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, and Fire Emblem Warriors, then it comes out to 17 games. Let's try saying them in the Fire Emblem Can You Say It challenge.
Are you excited for this one, Micah?
I'll give it a try.
暗黒竜と光の
I don't know,
剣
did you play Three Houses?
外伝紋章の謎聖戦の系譜トラキア776、封印の剣烈火の剣、聖魔の功績
I mean, I hope this
荘
whole
園
stream
の
isn't
奇跡暁の女神
them being like, hey,
新
go
暗黒竜新紋章
play these games, go
覚醒
play
イ
Fire
フヒ
Emblem.
ーローズエコーズ風化設立
There you go, 17.
今変な数え方してました
So you saw how I was counting in a weird way, right? I was counting in binary.
つまりこれが
This is 0. Fold this here and you get 1, and then you get 2.
This whole
Then
stream
2
is
plus 1 equals 3. So this would be 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you get 16. Add 1 and you get 17.
Didn't know it was
Awesome, isn't it?
hard to learn in class today.
You can actually count up to 31 on one hand. And if you use both hands, you can count all the way up to 1023.
It is a easy choice. And they haven't
If
done
you've
a
given up
Nintendo
counting the
character
knots
yet
in
in
the
their
tatami mat,
DLC,
you could always
so-
give it a go. What is Fire Emblem Three Houses? In Japanese, the male version of the main character is called Bereto, and the female version is called Beresu. But in English, they share the same name, Byleth.
Beresu.
Byleth becomes a professor who ends up leading one of 3 academic houses. Once you've chosen a house, you guide them through their school life, and, well, you end up fighting the other houses. After a
Yeah, I'm
certain
not-
incident, 5 years pass,
I
and you
mean,
meet up with your
it
grown-up
looks
students
like a
to
more
battle against
unique
the other
Fire
houses in
Emblem
their
character,
region.
but yeah, I'm not super
It's a
excited
very sad
either.
game in which your former allies become enemies, turn hostile, and try to kill you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To understand the concept of Fire Emblem Three Houses, I played an early version of the game before its release. I've done the same thing before, with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example, because I couldn't wait until launch to experience it, or we'd have never made it in
Talking
time.
about this game for another.
For that title, I borrowed an early version of the game for 2 days, ran around all the areas, saw the ending, and realized for the first time, I guess we can't really have Breath of the Wild's Princess Zelda as a fighter.
Why not? People would love to have her as a fighter. I mean, we
I did the
have-
same this time,
get
but
at
with
least
there
a
being
costume.
3 houses and multiple endings, it was really hard to get a feel for it.
Breath of the Wild Zelda.
And of course, there weren't any walkthroughs I could reference. The game has multiple routes, and the outcome of each is very different. Your experience will vary depending on the route you choose, and many of the characters you meet will adopt different roles in the story. I'll try to avoid spoilers when I'm talking about the fighter. I hope you'll understand. Before my demonstration, I should point out that when I did the Terry Bogard showcase video, I mentioned that it was recorded a month in advance. But this time, we have to account for the holidays and such, so we're filming 2 months in advance of this video's release. Right now, it's actually November. Therefore, some of what I'm about to show you might differ a bit from the finished version. As always, I'm using a special in-game camera and such for demonstration purposes. Here I go. So this is our new fighter, Byleth. Sadly, they're lacking in mobility. It's maybe a bit better than Robin's, but that's about all you can say for them. Throws are not their strong point either. Their grab lacks range. But actually, you could say that
Yeah.
they're distance demon.
Male or female, it is cool.
The
Cool
hero's
to be
relic
able
they
to
use
choose
changes
multiple
depending on the
characters.
direction you input with the stick. Each of the hero's relics is a weapon that appears in Fire Emblem Three Houses. They look like bones, and there's a reason for that. First, let's talk about the weapon Byleth uses for upward inputs, the Sword of the Creator. The Sword of the Creator here is Byleth's default weapon. They use it for flurry attacks and tilt attacks, such as down tilt attacks, where it takes the form of a whip.
I mean, it looks
They
like
also
it's a more
use the
unique
sword
Fire
for
Emblem
dash
character,
attacks
which
and other
is
moves.
cool. That is cool.
For their up smash attack, they'll whip the sword upward to launch enemies in the air. For their up air attack, they'll wave the whip sword overhead. The hit detection for this attack lasts for a relatively long time. The up special move is really something. The sword extends like this, allowing you to do things like this.
Oh, that's cool.
It was pretty terrifying how I knocked him into the air with that attack. And in addition, you can do awful things like this.
Oh.
That said, you'll launch opponents upward until their damage reaches a certain percentage. Exceed that percentage, and you'll need to be
different play
careful.
style, which
You may
is-
find it helpful
It's
to
always
mid-air
good to have
dodge.
unique style characters.
I've already shown this, but you can also use it to latch onto edges. So that's the up special.
Okay.
Now, for the sideways inputs. This is Erdvar, the same name as the weapon from Celtic mythology.
Little player.
First, we'll go through the forward and back air attacks. As you can see, they have a long reach. Like so. Marth's air attack keeps opponents in check too, right? If Byleth does the same thing, you'd win out, so you should be able to beat it. Next, the side smash attack. This also has a long range. It'll connect even from here. Also, if you add an upward tilt,
So
it
that's
will be
that's
stronger.
a heavy hitting. The heavy hitting one.
And if you've knocked an opponent down, the side attack won't hit unless you add a downward tilt to aim for them. By the way, the tip of the lance is more powerful. The shaft part is weaker,
The tip of the love.
so it's not suited to close combat. It won't deal much damage, and it won't launch opponents far.
Situational.
That's why, as a rule, you want to hit with the blade part aimed upward, or downward in this case.
Oh.
Next, the side special move. Byleth will simply swing the lance like this, but again, it has excellent reach. For example, even when your opponent is at this distance, it'll still hit.
Okay.
Actually, you can do a smash attack to charge forward a little, like this.
That's cool. Nice girl. Nice girl. Nice girl.
But as you'd expect, it can be easily shielded, so be careful. Use it in midair and you'll carve up a large area. Returning to the side air attacks from earlier, they have great horizontal reach, but they lack verticality. So this complements it well. Although you'll be vulnerable when you
Thank you
land.
to everyone who's joined the stream. I know it's early.
Now, for the downward inputs.
Hope for those of you
For
who
these, Byleth will
see it
use
are
an axe
excited.
called Emir.
Happy.
It's named after a weapon that appears in Ugaritic myth. First, the down air attack. It really is strong.
Better be strong.
You can try for a meteor effect with this attack. Next is the down smash attack. A heavy swing of the axe back and forth. As you can see, it has a great deal of launch
I think
power.
that'd be really cool. Get us new cops.
And for the down special,
New outfit. New looks.
Byleth channels all their energy into a devastating strike. It's a bold move, similar to the Falcon Punch, but here's what makes it different.
He doesn't say Falcon Punch. That's
When readying the move, there's a super armor effect.
Oh, kind of like
which allows you to
Ganondorf
withstand an attack.
when he's doing his attack.
Just so you know,
To
if you
a
execute a
certain
Falcon
point,
Punch
can't
at
be
about the
interrupted.
same time, it plays out like
Welcome
this.
everyone to the
It's a bit
stream.
slower than the Falcon Punch, but due to the super armor effect, you have the advantage,
Yeah, okay.
unless you get grabbed.
Unless scraps. So unless if you're actually
Another
smart enough to
notable
do it,
aspect is that it lets you pass through platforms.
it's better at grabbing.
While you're charging up, you can breeze past platforms like this to reach a lower area. It won't let you jump, but you could use it as a surprise attack. Also, you can turn around during the move.
Different
The
play
swing
styles.
takes a while.
Different play styles and options.
So if an opponent runs behind you
Options
during
are
the move,
good.
you can quickly change direction. Even though it can be hard to land a hit with this move, it can be really effective when used against a group of opponents. Plus, even if you fail to land a direct hit, any opponents on the ground nearby will still be launched a little. It's as if the quaking of the ground launches them.
No. Not the quake.
By the way, earlier I talked a little bit about the other Fire Emblem characters' moves. I don't recommend using this down special against fighters from the Fire Emblem series, because you'll just get loads of counters. It hits
Right.
with that much power in a single attack.
They all count.
Counters can actually multiply the power of blocked attacks, and using easily anticipated attacks like this could just get you hit by counter after counter. Next, we have the neutral moves. The bow you use is called Failnaught, which shares its name with the bow from the Knights of the Round Table. It only appears in a
Gonna be
few
lot of
neutral moves.
bows.
You've got the neutral air attack.
And Link
This
and
attack
the
is
guy.
similar to a move of Pit's and other fighters like him. It lets you spin the weapon around. It's also easy to create certain combos with it. And with the neutral special, you'll let loose an arrow. It seems pretty straightforward, right? But there are a few noteworthy aspects to this bow.
Tell me.
First, the biggest difference between this bow and Link's is that once you enter the command, you can keep charging until it's ready. You can't release it partway through the charge, so when it does fire, the arrow travels at high speed. It's also very powerful. That said, you can still cancel out of the stance using the shield button. You can also change direction while in the
Well, that's
stance.
cool.
It works up until this point, but if you keep holding the button, you'll unleash
Ultimate arrow!
a powerful arrow that looks like a beam of light.
The
You can
light of
perform this
arrows.
move by keeping the button held down. You charge up power like so, charge a bit more, and then fire. But again, you'll need to take care when using this move. For one, when you've powered up the move to its max, there's no way to cancel out of it. Not even with the shield button.
Gotta be very
In other words,
careful then
you're
when
committed
using
to
it.
firing it. So you see, a situation like this is pretty terrible.
That's it. Everyone's gonna main Fox now. Everyone's maining
Once
Fox
you've entered
now.
the stance,
What's gonna happen?
you won't be able to do anything,
Everyone's maining Fox.
which
Over.
means it's quite the risky attack to use against fighters who have a move with a reflector effect. But you could always just aim into the fray, as it is, after all, a long-range move, letting you deal a sudden blow to opponents. So you need to think carefully when using this projectile weapon. Byleth's final smash is called Progenitor God Ruptured Heaven. In the original game, there's a move called Ruptured Heaven. This is an enhanced version. As you can see, you team up with the mysterious Sothis and launch an attack together.
ソティスが誰であるのか何なのかというのは原作で確認してみていただければと思います。
Now, let's talk about the color variations. It's set up so that the default and odd-numbered color variations are male, while the even-numbered ones are female. However, the third, fourth, and fifth colors are, as you can see, reminiscent of the house leaders. Those of you who played the original game will of course understand what I'm referring to. The sixth color is based on Sothis, who you just saw earlier.
Oh, that's cool.
And the seventh and eighth variations have a different hair color, which is based on something that occurs in the course of the original game's story. Didn't we see this variation in the final smash?
Spoilers.
まあこれは原作でもということで
Next, I'll introduce the stage. For this one, we of course tried to recreate the place where you spend most of the game, Garreg Mach Monastery. This is how Garreg Mach Monastery is laid out in the original game. From these, we chose to have it cycle through the marketplace, reception hall, bridge,
Unless they do
and
another
cathedral
surprise
all in
reveal,
one stage.
everyone was set on Devil.
It's the type of stage that rotates through different areas, such as these four. Let me introduce each of the guests that appear in these four areas.
10 minutes left, and who knows?
The first area is the
Talking
marketplace.
about the stage now.
I think this is where a lot of people come to do their shopping. The
I hope
guests
there's
that
another
appear here
reveal. I
are
really hope
students
there's
of the
another
Blue Lion's
reveal.
house, Dimitri, Dedu, and Ingrid. Not Dimitri, Dudu, or Ingrid. Their names are a bit difficult to say. They're largely from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. Since it's a kingdom, that means they have a monarchy. For that reason, I guess you could say Dimitri is the future king. He had quite a difficult life and may or may not end up with just one eye. He's an unfortunate one, that one.
Spoiler!
There are vendors on either side. In the original game, these are important booths where you buy all sorts of things, but here you can break them, you see.
Destroy the boots.
If you do break them,
Not
the stage will expand to the left and right. I wonder where people will buy their supplies now. And in the background, you can see the gatekeeper.
I'm the gatekeeper.
You often pass through this area in Fire Emblem 3 houses, and you end up talking to him a lot. Moving through these areas is possible thanks to this mysterious platform. Just when it seems like you've come to a stop,
Ugh, it's gonna make me nauseous.
you'll come crashing back down, be broken through the ceiling and slammed into the building. And the guests in the reception hall are Edelgard, Dorothea, and Petra of the Black Eagles. Take note, it's not spelled Edelgard. They're from the Adressian Empire,
Excuse me.
and as such, they embrace their military might. Edelgard is one of the characters who is central to the conflict. Depending on the path you take, she'll go through some terrible ordeals.
Because
You'll notice there are prominent chandeliers above the stage. It's possible to knock them down.
I'll be a high jumper.
However, Byleth can't actually reach it, even though it's their stage. You can reach it with other fighters, though. So, it's nice if you can work your way up there by getting lucky and being launched up, or perhaps by using another fighter as a stepping stone. There we go, I made it.
Oh,
And you can knock it down. Also, you can break this table. Like so.
you're breaking everything.
Just like the sign that reads Fudin Kazan in the Suzaku Castle stage, it can break if you launch the opponent into it at close range.
Whoever breaks the most stuff wins.
Next up, the
That's how it's
bridge.
built.
The camera rotates 90 degrees, creating this long area. It's very wide indeed. It's similar to the Bridge of Elden stage. The guests are from the Golden Deer, Claude, Hilda, and Lawrence. They belong
I
to
mean,
the Leicester
people who love
Alliance.
Fire Emblem and Three Houses just have to love all the detail that this map will bring.
Because it's an alliance of many noble families, you could
really
say that
bring
they
that
have a
game
wide
to
assortment of
life
members.
here, but
And Claude is the sharpest of the bunch. Incidentally, both Claude and Hilda are the names of characters that
Yes.
appear in
this is a
Genealogy of the
unique
Holy
map.
War, the
That
fourth
is-
title in the
that
Fire
is
Emblem
exciting.
series.
That is unique.
I guess once
You
you've
have
reached
to
the
love
17th
the
game and
diversity
are
in this
creating
map.
40 characters for each new
Whether you're
entry,
excited for
you're
this
bound to get a bit
character
of
or
name
not, the
overload.
map at least
The
looks a
naming
lot
process
of
must be
fun.
tough. Hey, it looks like the Pegasus Knight is busy training. As for the bridge's design, it's just a long pathway, plain and simple. You can expect plenty of blows to be exchanged at the edges of the screen. You could also say it's a place where the fail knot really shines, and in this sense, I think it suits the Golden Deer perfectly. The last area is the cathedral, only with some platforms you can pass through. The guests appearing in the cathedral are Sedith, Flayn, and Rhea. There's Sedith, who appears to have an extremely strong bond with his sister, Flayn. She seems to be under the protection of him and Rhea, who you can see fighting during the opening of Fire Emblem Three Houses. All three have character quirks related to their true identities. I feel that Flame might be saying shush at this point, so I'll leave it at that. This is a simple area of the stage. All it has are these platforms. Being the last area, it may be a place where some intense battles will be waged.
For space, though, at least
It'll cycle through each location in about 2.5 minutes.
7 minutes left.
Okay, today we'll have a tag team battle in Squad Strike with the DLC team pitted against Fire Emblem protagonists from throughout the ages. That'll give us precisely 5 players per side. Alright, here we go, Joker. Joker! And Hero! Gee, we really made a lot, huh? Banjo! By now, I think you know what I'm doing. But basically, I'm trying to defeat all 5 opponents with just the Professor here. But as expected, it's going to be a pretty tough battle, so I'm using anything I can get my hands on. It's not going to land that easily. Uh-oh, this is bad. Mannequins. I better keep my distance. I'll use this chance to attack. Got him.
Bomb.
That's scary. He's invincible for a moment here. Lots of explosives. Ouch. He perfect shielded that, huh?
So much Fire
Good
Emblem.
one. If I do this, or like so. No anti-air, huh? There, the soccer ball connected.
Okay.
Good, there's Mom.
Good Mom.
You're in a good spot, Mom.
Mom! Mom!
Ah, I shouldn't have taken that. Gardevoir. Well, I guess no one uses projectiles. At this point, it doesn't matter if Gardevoir's there or not.
Like, the real question is, are they level 9 computers?
I feel like the enemy might get this Smash Ball. See? They got it.
But you're gonna knock it out.
But I mustn't give up. I can't waste this chance.
Even if
There's
it's
another
not
Smash
level
Ball.
9.
Yes, got it.
Is there?
Now! What are you charging up for? There's still more.
Get the hammer.
Whack! Go on, you can take the hammer, but it's mine. Although I'm scared I might get hit with a counter in this state. I hit him!
I hit him!
I was trying to fight using Byleth's abilities alone, but what matters is that I won. Good game.
GG computer. GG.
It can be fun to play like this, especially in tag team, so I think it's a good idea to try imposing different types of challenges on yourself. The end. Now, about the additional music. Since it's from the Fire Emblem series, we'll be adding each of the new tracks to all the Fire Emblem stages. There are already a lot of Fire Emblem tracks in the game. Our selection this time has been made taking those existing tracks into consideration. 11 songs are being added. This includes an arrangement of the main theme in both Japanese and English. I hope you'll enjoy these as well. We're also adding in a new spirit board. It includes the house leaders among some of the other popular characters. Sothis is Legend class. Also, there's a new classic mode route, a Heroic Legacy, which is designed to let you enjoy classic Fire Emblem stages from throughout the series' history.
They're really pushing for...
The final battle is against
Fire Emblem
Master Hand
Three
and
Houses.
Crazy Hand, but you'll find that
Really
something pretty
pushing it.
amusing happens, so look forward to that. Now for the Mii Fighter costumes. Please take a look.
Assassin's Creed. Wait. Yeah, it's Assassin's Creed. Well, looks like Assassin's Creed. How cute. How cute. So if you don't actually want to play Mega Man, you can look like it instead. Oh, Cuphead. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Should've just made that the reveal. Cuphead. Cuphead's cool and got a different outfit. Mega Man.
This time, we're releasing a Cuphead costume. And for those of you who purchased the Cuphead costume, an additional song will be added. It's called Floral Fury, and it's the theme that plays when fighting Cagney Carnation. I hope you enjoy these as well. After purchasing a costume, I recommend using the sharing feature. If someone has created a Mii fighter, you can play using the costume it's wearing immediately after you download it. And now, onto the amiibo.
Now Dark Samus.
The color palette for Dark Samus looks pretty good, doesn't it? Dark Samus and Richter are planned for release on Friday, January 17th.
Honestly, Cuphead is the coolest reveal for me in this.
And now, with the addition of Violet, the Fighter's Pass is finally complete. The lineup was Joker, Hero, Banjo and Kazooie, Terry Bogard, and Violet.
No, not bad. Yeah.
From more than 70 fighters, only 5 have been added. But I must say, this game has always been an exceptional experience. And since the roster was already so large to begin with, right from the start, we intended to make the most out of the new gameplay mechanics and so on. There really were a lot of new mechanics, weren't there?
Yep.
When we add a new fighter, we don't simply make their attacks or their movements a little different. Instead, we try to offer you a whole new style of play. As I stated, we'll continue to release more DLC fighters down the line. I had thought that 1 or 2 might suffice, but, well, have a look.
Thank you. All right, here we go. Oh, 6. Okay. Please let us.
Looks like there will be 1 more fighter than last time. For this reason, we will be releasing the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass Volume 2. It will be available for pre-purchase on the date shown, so please keep an eye out. And now that it's official, we intend to move ahead with development. Of course, like last time, the contents will remain unknown for now, and I'm personally very sorry that we have to release Fighters Pass Volume 2 when the details have yet to be revealed. Like last time, I'd be very grateful if, despite that, you would understand why and purchase it. Furthermore, the new additions have already been decided. Even if I receive many requests regarding potential candidates on Twitter, I'm afraid it would be very hard to consider them. But I still hope you'll look forward to it.
Yes.
We're also including a bonus with Fighters Pass Volume 2. Last time, it was a Rex costume. But this time, here's what we have. It's a Mii Fighter costume for Mii Sword Fighter, the ancient soldier gear from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Cool.
This will not be for sale individually, so it can only be acquired as part of Fighter's Pass Volume 2. It's been reported that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the highest-selling fighting game in the world. Personally, I don't know if it counts as simply a fighting game, but I guess it's seen as a fighting game around the world. Seems like Street Fighter II was in the lead for a while, but now Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has surpassed it in total sales. However, I'm not sure if this is accurate. There were 5 versions of Street Fighter II, or 6 to 7 if we really want to get into the weeds. Plus, there's the arcade versions and the 25 ports to other systems, so I don't know if that's been accounted for. Also, I don't know if that really qualifies as one game. It's up for discussion. So, who knows? But when it comes to a single piece of software, it seems like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is number 1. Although, I still don't know if it can really be called just a fighting game. I feel like it's become more than a fighting game, some sort of celebration of gaming or something else entirely. Also, I feel a deep attachment to the 5 DLC fighters. The first Fighter's Pass just wrapped up, but it was decided that there will be more DLC, which means no breaks for me. I plan to keep working hard, so I hope you can continue to support us. That's it. Thank you.
Well, exciting if you're a Fire Emblem fan. Kind of underwhelming for me though. Oof. Not Dante. No Dante. Always lots of rumors. Always lots of rumors with this game. Lots of rumors. But you should comment on the video when it goes live on YouTube. Well, not live, but when it goes on YouTube. So yeah, you should let me know what you think of the character. I'm underwhelmed, but whatever, whatever. It's more Smash, more Smash, more Fire Emblem, but more Smash. So. Thank you all for joining the stream. If you did, really appreciate it. Like honestly, really appreciate it, guys. Oh my gosh, 25K dislikes. Oh yeah. Wow, not a bunch of happy people. Like I said, more Fire Emblem. If you love Fire Emblem, at least it looks like it's a more unique, different character than the rest of the Fire Emblem characters. But it is what it is. But hey, 6 fighters coming out in the next little bit, so we get to look forward to that. Thank you everyone for joining us. It's just me. Cody doesn't like me. Thank you for joining me. We'll do more streams, have more fun, more content. Fellow Questers, you have a great Thursday. Enjoy work. Bye-bye now.